Good afternoon, I'm Mike Rudisell. I'm the employment coordinator here at the Little Rock Air Force Base Airborne and Family Readiness Center. And today we're going to talk a little bit about job searching in Arkansas, as you can see here on the screen. So let's get into it. We're going to cover the objective of what we're going to do here this afternoon. We're going to talk about searching newspapers, employment agencies, the internet, and then of course we'll summarize everything. Now, if we get done in time, the intent here is that we'll go onto the internet and I'll show you how to apply the information that we've talked about. So let's just jump on into the next objective. As we've said before, we want to make sure that we provide our active duty service members, dependents of higher age, military spouse, retirees, DoD civilians, and veterans the knowledge to be able to do and conduct job searching no matter what state they go in. We're talking about just for Arkansas, but what we're going to do can be done in any state really. So again, we want to make sure that we help you be successful in uncovering those employment opportunities, because what we find over time is that for most people, they can't see the individual tree for the forest. You start looking and there are all these different search engines and there's thousands of jobs, and we want to make sure that you can get to what you need and what you want to do. So let's start off with newspapers. As we can see here, this website, the usnpl.com, AR News, if you go to this website, you can find all the local newspapers within the state of Arkansas, no matter what city you live in. So therefore, if you're wanting to find something close to where you live, or maybe your children are now at the age that they're wanting to start to get a summer job, these are some of the papers they should be going to and looking under employment. As you can see right here, this is the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, and here in a little bit we'll take a look at that website. Now again, you might think, well gee whiz, I get the Sunday paper and I see that there are only like 40 jobs in there. Arkansas Democrat Gazette actually keeps a database or a job bank of all the potential jobs that are within that area. Not all of those are posted in their newspaper. So this allows you, when you go to the website, to go in and take a look at those particular jobs that may be not seen in the Sunday paper. So by all means, go in and take a look at it. Next, we're going to take a look at employment agencies. Now, back in the day, they used to call them temp agencies or temporary agencies. Then in our modern time of political correctness, people didn't like that terminology, and so they replaced it with term employers or staffing agencies, because they're agencies that help staff a business. Now, here at Little Rock Air Force Base and the United States Air Force do not solely endorse the 6 staffing agencies that you see on here. I only selected these. If you go to Google and you type in Arkansas staffing agencies, Little Rock, Arkansas staffing agencies, you're going to see there are over 30 different staffing agencies just in the city of Little Rock. Okay? These 6 were selected randomly out of the 30 because I didn't want to put all 30 plus on here. But again, it's just somewhere for you to look. Now the Department of Workforce Services or the Division of Workforce Services, that is your state workforce. We used to call it the unemployment office. People didn't like that, so now we call it the Division of Workforce Services. When you're looking for a job, you can go there as well. Manpower is privately owned, so is Advantage, so is ASAP, so is Preferred, so is StaffMart. Again, these are all great agencies. What do we get out of going to a term employer? The great thing about going to a staffing agency is that if you're young and you don't have a lot of work experience, staffing agency will help you get into different types of employment for certain terms. A lot of times when it comes to a staffing agency, you're going to have a 30-day, 90-day, 3-month, 6-month contract that you're going to fill a position with the company. What's the win for the company? The company doesn't have to pay you retirement or disability or medical benefits. They're just paying the staffing agency to provide a body to do a particular task. This allows you to determine, is administration really what I want to do without investing a whole lot of money in college and a whole lot of time with a particular company? Maybe you're wanting to decide whether I want to work in a bakery or whether I want to work in the medical profession. Staffing agencies allow you to get that quick into the job market very quickly and get you that short-term experience to decide, is that what I want to do as a career? So those are great pluses when it comes to these employment agencies. I would highly encourage you to look at those, especially if you're a foreign spouse coming into the area and you're not exactly sure what career path you want to seek, but you have a work visa or work permit. Again, you can do these short terms to figure out what I want to do before you focus on exactly what you want to do. A lot of different things for you as well. Internet searches. Now these are my favorites here. Now every week I go through and I use these exact websites that you're seeing right here, and I pull all the available employment opportunities within 75 miles of Little Rock Air Force Base. Every week it's over 16,000 jobs. I love it when people come to me on a one-on-one counseling session and they say, Rudy, I can't find a job. And it's not that you can't find a job, you can't find exactly the job that you would like to do, or you don't know about a particular job that's out there. I always tell military spouses when they come to see me and they're looking for a job, if I can't show you 25 jobs that you're qualified for in 25 minutes, I'll buy you lunch. Since 2012, I haven't bought a spouse a lunch. That's how many jobs are out there, okay? You just got to know how to find the individual tree for the forest. And that's what we're going to talk to you about. So first, when we look at the federal areas, we're looking at USA jobs and VA jobs. Those are great. They're great for military spouses, and they're great for our transitioning veterans, our retirees. Because again, vets help vets. You love to hire somebody that has a knowledge and an experience based on the customer that you're going to have. Boom, this is what we're looking for. We actually have a particular class for federal resume writing that's 2 hours long. The first hour we teach you how to manipulate and use USA jobs, and the second hour we teach you how to write the federal resume. So when we do get back to classes, we encourage you to sign up for that. Or schedule a one-on-one and come in and sit down and we can talk about it. USA Jobs is the official DoD hiring website, but it is not the all-inclusive website. So if you're a military retiree and you know that you have a 6-month restriction before you can apply for a federal job, then what you need is a direct hire position. The Food and Drug Administration, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the VA hospital, all their positions are now direct hire, which means you don't have to wait 6 months after you retire to apply for those jobs. So you really should be looking at those when you're 120 days, within 120 days of retirement. Also, when it comes to the direct hire jobs, they're not required to be on USA Jobs. So that's probably why you don't see them very often. Most of those are going to be held on their home website. I have a list of all the U.S. departments in the U.S. government, the Department of Interior, the Department of Justice. If you want, you can shoot me an email. I can give you a list of those. Just go to their homepage, go under employment or careers, and they'll have a listing of any direct hire positions that they're offering. Something to look at. You're not always going to see it in USA Jobs. Now the VAs are not really connected to one another. So whenever we're going to the VA hospital here in Little Rock, and we're talking to the HR department about looking for a position at the Orlando VA hospital, the 300-bed hospital they built over there a few years ago, he or she is not going to have eyes on all the available positions that are open. That's why it's important for you to find out what state do I want to move to? Where's the closest VA hospital to where I'm moving to? And then reach out to that HR department and let them know that you're a transitioning service member or military spouse. Because you do get some military spousal preference when you're talking about those types of things. So again, for us here in Arkansas, we use the Central Arkansas Veterans Healthcare System, CAVHS. And I'll show you that here in a little bit as well. Here's the really great thing about the VA as well. 70% of all positions at the VA hospital are not medically related. Right? So 3 out of 10 jobs require somebody with a medical background. The other 7 are logistics, supply, services, security, administration, IT, customer service, program analysts. These are all non-medical positions. Target-rich environment for us. Right? Let's go on to the state jobs. Now there are many more state websites to go to, but these are my 3 favorite. That's why I put them up there. I love these. My favorite one all the time is the AR State Jobs. Normally when I go to the AR State Jobs website, it will show me all the state jobs within every county within the state of Arkansas. Now normally when I get to it, I put Pulaski into the county because the state government is seated in Pulaski County in Little Rock. This way I can see all 26 departments and I can see their main buildings that they're going to be housing jobs out of. Once I get in there, you'll be surprised how many jobs you'll find that only require a GED or a high school diploma. Most of them don't require an advanced degree of an associate's or a bachelor's. So, something we need to look at. Administrative 1, 2, and 3, those positions are all GED, or GED plus 1 year experience, or GED plus 2 years experience. You'd be surprised that when you look at these names, you're like, man, okay, this is a program analyst position. It's probably going to require a degree. But when you open it up, what does it say? Under education and experience, a GED or high school diploma with at least 1 year experience. So again, let's not discount ourselves. We do that In our society, we like to think, oh man, obviously I've got to have a degree to get this job, and we don't look into it and find out that, oh, there are other opportunities for us there. So, the Arkansas Job Board, love this one too. Normally when I run this one, it's about 6,000 jobs that are posted on there. And it will show you over the last week how many jobs were new over the last week, which is generally right around 700 or so. So that means the rest of that 6,000 are a little older than a week old. But again, it's a great opportunity. Here's the one bad thing about it. It's everything from ditch digger to entry-level executive at Dillard's. Okay? Now, the cool part about it, so I'm going to give you some good, I'm going to give you some bad, right? I'm going to hit you with this side of the hand, I'm going to get you with this side of the hand. So the good part about it is the filter mechanisms on the left-hand side allow you to open up and see out of those 7,000 jobs, how many are in what town? How many are full-time, part-time? How many have a certain salary? How many have a certain educational requirement? So you can use the filter mechanisms to get down to those jobs that are most important or closest to you. Great website. The portal.arkansas.gov employment, another good website set up by the governor of the state of Arkansas and his contingent. Again, there are some great opportunities in there as well. I encourage you to take a look at that. County, a lot of people forget about the county. I don't forget. I just got one of those nice bills that say, hey, you owe us a little bit of money for county taxes after I'd already paid city taxes. So again, never forget the county. They're always around. And there are some great county jobs. The sheriff's department falls under the county. So if you ever thought about going into law enforcement and you want to work for the sheriff's department, you can look at Lone Oak or Pulaski or Conway, any of those counties, and you can see fire departments also have them, EMTs are in there. There are also some county reclamators or some county officials that go out and look at land and property and sewage drainage and things. You'd be surprised. County water, right, all those. Then we get down into the city, and we can see that you can go in and find out what positions are available to be paid for by the city. Now, some go through the Chamber of Commerce, and some use a different mechanism. But really, that's the big thing, is either going to where it says www.cityofjacksonville.net, or like this one, it's CabotArkansas.gov, so you would put ConwayArkansas.gov, or BentonAR.gov, something along those lines, to find exactly where your city jobs are posted. These are great employment opportunities. They provide medical benefits and retirements and sick leave and things of that nature. Besides, anybody ever seen that sticker that says, live here, spend here? It's the same thing. They'd much rather hire somebody that lives in their town for a town job than somebody that lives in 2 counties away, right? You want somebody working for the city that lives in the city, that knows what's going on. That can be a plus. And lastly, we don't want to overstep on base. With the on-base opportunities, that's the non-appropriated funds and Air Force, or AFES, which is the Army Air Force Exchange Services. These are 2 other opportunities in order to gain employment here at Little Rock Air Force Base. When we talk about AFES, we're talking about the bowling alley, the arts and crafts, the auto hobby shop, lodging, things of that nature. So there are a lot of opportunities there for you, the CDC, and then of course AFES, you're talking about the base exchange. So for those of you that don't have a car, you're not familiar with the area, you don't want to move off base, these are some options for you. Again, NAF positions are no longer on this website, nafjobs.org. If you go to that website, it will automatically take you to USA Jobs. So you have 2 choices. You can go to the website and it will take you to USA Jobs, or you can go to USA Jobs and under the what, you can put NAF positions and it'll bring you those up. Again, with the NAF jobs and the AFES jobs, this is everything from hourly to salary positions, both here and abroad. If you're a young airman and you're getting out of service or deciding you're wanting to get out of service and you're not married, you don't have any kids, and you want to travel, there's nothing wrong with applying for a NAF position over at Landstuhl in Germany, or Ramstein, or Vogelway, or over at Mildenhall. Get a little travel. Rota, Spain is nice on the Mediterranean. Been to that naval air station. So again, these are great opportunities for you. Might want to check them out. So before we wind up leaving on it, being done with our PowerPoint presentation and playing around a little bit, we need to make sure AFPC, Air Force Personnel Center, has required us to make sure that you're made aware of the spouse reimbursement for relicensure and recertification, which is a fairly new initiative that has come out. So we're going to cover that pretty quick. As you can see here, there's reimbursement up to $1,000 after 20 December 2019 and $500 from 12 December of 2017 to 19 December 2019 for any spouse that had to acquire an occupational state relicensing or recertification due to a PCS or PCA. There are some eligibilities we can see here. First, you got to file within 24 months of the date of the PCS or PCA orders. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're looking at the date that they were signed by the commander. I believe that's the date of the orders is going to be found on block 28 of your orders. So as long as you have applied for this reimbursement within 24 months of that date, you're good. If you waited past that, it's too late. Your PCS or PCA from a duty station in one state to a duty station in another state, including Hawaii, Alaska, Washington, D.C., and the U.S. territories. What we mean by this is you can't be stationed at Fort Smith and then PCS to Little Rock within the same state and acquire and ask for a relicense and recertification refund. Okay, you've got to be moving from Missouri to Arkansas or Arkansas to Florida, something along those lines. Movement of dependents is authorized at government expense. So if you're sent on a remote assignment, you can't use that set of orders to apply for recertification. So let's say you get sent to Korea and you decide your spouse isn't going to stay here, they're going to go to Florida, but they can't do their job in Florida without a Florida license. You cannot apply for reimbursement when you get to Kumsan because your husband or wife had to get a new license because your dependents weren't allowed on the orders. So your dependents have to be on the orders to do that. Also, the state of the new duty section requires license certification for the same profession as the previous state, which means that if your spouse was a barber in Missouri and you come to Arkansas and all of a sudden he or she decides they want to be a tattooist, that's not going to work. They can apply for reimbursement of the license if they're going from being a barber